Now, even as the opposition National Democratic Congress works on its inquiry into what caused its heavy defeat in the 2016 elections, the New Patriotic Party has launched its own inquest to find out what factors contributed to its victory. The 10-member committee, which will be doing the review, is also to investigate how the party could improve its performance at the next election. Acting General Secretary of the NPP, John Boadu, announced this to the media Wednesday morning.
The party takes cognizance of the fact that every political program requires a critical review after the expiration of the execution period. It is not surprising that at the inception of the Fourth Republican Constitution, when the party believed that the 1992 presidential elections were rigged, the party did a review of the election and came up with the popular document called the Stolen Verdict in 1992. Likewise, in 1996, presidential and parliamentary elections, we reviewed the elections, and lesson learned, mistakes made were also corrected. And if you remember, the catchword for the document that we produced was what we call the Bot Verdict. In 2008, after the election, we again, as I've told you, formed what we call the Dr. Heyman's Committee to go through the reasons why the New Patriotic Party government that was performing so well for the 8 years lost the elections. You all know about the bizarre circumstance under which the 2012 elections were declared by the EC, and even the Supreme Court pronouncement on the presidential petition filed by the then presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is now the President of the Republic of Ghana. Thankfully, the New Patriotic Party won the 2016 presidential and also won majority of the parliamentary elections. We are gathered here today to inaugurate the Dr. Opoku Eduse Committee to undertake an independent review of the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. The attacks, this is a committee made up of 10 members of our party. These are members that their integrity cannot be questioned. These are members that understand what it takes to run an election. These are members that their credentials in the party cannot be questioned.
He also outlined the terms of reference of the committee.
The mandate is simply to provide a detailed and honest analysis of 2016 elections countrywide on structures and operations of the party at all levels. They are also to produce a clear, concise, but detailed report to form basis for the party's campaign to win 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections and beyond. And also, they are to provide objective review of the current situation, that is, current party-government relationships, and any other matter that will come before them as a committee. They are expected to use 6 weeks to finish this report.
Now, the National Council of the New Patriotic Party is meanwhile meeting to, among others, attempt a resolution of the impasse between its Northern Regional Chairman Daniel Bugri-Naabu and Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister Otiku Afisa-Jaba. The two have been feuding over what the Gender Minister says has been an attempt by the regional chair to usurp her ministerial mandate in the appointment of a National School Feeding Coordinator. Acting General Secretary of the party, John Boadu, says the feud between the two is one of the key issues that will engage the National Council. He tells Joy News editor Fred Smith the tussle has been distracting President Akufo-Addo's tour of other West African states.
The National Council is the second highest decision-making body of the party apart from the annual delegates conference. So its decision, it can even decide that certain things should be done, you understand? And so let us restrict that to them. They have the powers and the mandate to deal with those aspects here. And this is a plan that I've told you that by close of today, National Council is meeting. I don't want us to mix. This is a singular press conference that we had. It is for the inauguration of election review committee for the party. So let us remain in that. After the National Council, if you want an open discussion on it, depending on decision that National Council takes, I'm always available for us to discuss it. Even as we've not met, Joy FM and other radio station, I've spoken with you and I've told you the position of the party and how regrettable we think it is for us, especially where our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, had taken a tour of our sub-region, our close neighbors, and the kind of interaction and goodwill that he brought along. This has really made it impossible for even the Ghanaian people, the ordinary person, the ordinary trader who is interested in seeing the kind of agreement and arrangement that the president had with his neighboring presidents, and to ease their trade and all that, have been buried, and you are also not interested. And I think that it is important that after a major decision has been taken, you know what the party's position really is.
Well, both the minister and regional chairman insist they were right, even though one has apologized. Otiku Afisa-Jaba apologized on Tuesday, whereas the Northern Region chairman says he will be reporting the matter to the party's disciplinary committee.
I apologize to my party members and the people of Ghana for what happened. I'm the mother. They say that in trees, so and so I want to use this opportunity to apologize to all Ghanaians about what happened. But it is a lesson for us to understand that we need to respect each other and we need to respect women. I myself went to see the president yesterday and I spoke to him about it, and I used the opportunity to explain to him about what had happened, and I apologized to him as well.
One single word for the man who you say has disrespected you, what would you tell him?
Love. Show some love, Mr. Bugri.
I didn't insult her. I never said anything. I only told her her actions were wrong. And which is true, I will maintain this. That is wrong. I have never accused her of being a lesbian, but it is in the internet everywhere. Everybody says she's a lesbian. I'm not the one who said it. I didn't say so. I haven't even heard it, but they are saying it. It's all over. They say she's a lesbian. There are some two girls in Tamale who are the women of garages, Tamale Central, Tamale South, where they are all saying it. Me, I also heard it, but me, I didn't say that.
Well, the Northern Region chairman of the New Patriotic Party has unreservedly retracted and apologized to the Upper East Regional Minister Roxing Bukari, whom he accused of masterminding the murder of Adams Mahama. Daniel Bugri Nabu, in a letter written to Samson Gladia Yenini, lawyer for the minister, said his comments made on a Accra-based radio station, and which have since gained traction in the media, were regrettable and unfortunate. He had 48 hours to retract and apologize for saying, after an ultimatum was issued by the lawyer on behalf of Roxing Bukari to sue him if he did not fail to apologize to the minister, or if he failed to apologize to the minister and his family for the harm and embarrassment the allegation may have caused them. And I have a copy of the letter. It says, I write to sincerely and unreservedly retract wholly my comment about your client in an interview I granted Accra-based radio station XYZ. I note most regrettably that those rather unfortunate comments have since Monday, May 8, 2017, gained wide publicity and may have implications for an ongoing trial at the High Court. Those comments, regrettably, though was a slip of tongue and was not intended to denigrate him. Honorable Roxing Bukari is my brother, and under no circumstance would I seek to tarnish his hard-won reputation. Immediately my attention was drawn to the comment. I personally called him and apologized to him and his family unreservedly. I do not have any facts beyond the police investigations on the matter, and I'm truly sorry to the minister's family and all those I have heard by those comments. And it's signed by Daniel Bugri Nabu, Northern Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. All right, we're staying with the New Patriotic Party, and there's the National Council meeting, which is currently taking place at the Alisa Hotel. I've been joined on the line now by my colleague Latif Idris. Hello, Latif Idris. All right, so what are you able to tell us about the conference, the meeting?
Yeah, I'm currently at the Alisa Hotel, where the National Council of the New Patriotic Party is expected to hold what will be its second meeting of 2016. The party council earlier met in January after the party got power from the NDC. Now I'm looking at a very, very fortified Alisa Hotel right now. We have security operatives, the military, the police, and the national security all in attendance here to ensure the place is safe, considering the fact that the president, the first gentleman of the land, President Akufo-Addo, will be in attendance. Former President Kufuor is also expected to attend the meeting later in the evening. And I've been speaking with the Acting General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. John Buedu, who has given me some hints on issues that the party will be considering at the council meeting. First of it has to do with the constitution of the New Patriotic Party. Now, according to Mr. John Buedu, the party or the council will be considering some amendment of the current constitution of the governing NPP. As to which areas the council will be considering, he wouldn't mention that. According to him, will come up at the meeting. Second on the table would have to do with the presentation of the winning candidate. President Akufo-Addo, after winning the 2016 general elections, will be presented today to the National Council of the NPP. Also look at the party and government relation. Now we know the NPP is the party in power. The political party is still out there, and so one of the issues that will be on the table has to do with how the party would, look at the working relationship between the government and the NPP as a political party is one issue that will be on the table. And one issue which is also critical has to do with disciplinary issues. We know, and according to the Acting General Secretary, one of the issues as far as disciplinary issues are concerned would be the battle between Madam Otiku Jaba, the gender minister, plus the Northern Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. That will be one of the issues. And if you see in the background, we have a motorcade just passed by, and we have some V8s coming in, which gives you a sense of the dignitaries who are arriving in their numbers. Now, it's worth mentioning that the first, big wig of the New Patriotic Party to arrive here was, apart from the General Secretary who was here earlier, was the Gender Minister, Madam Otiku Jaba. She arrived earlier. I've seen the Chairman of Cocoa Board, Mr. Hackman, who has also arrived. He arrived a short while ago. Communication Director of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Kumia, also arrived a few minutes ago. According to the Acting General Secretary, this meeting is expected to go very, very late in the night. And that is evident because as we speak, Israel, the meeting of the National Council of the governing New Patriotic Party hasn't started yet.
All right, so it's certainly you're going to be there for quite a while, and we'll be coming to you as and when any issue comes up or there's anything we have to put out to our viewers. But still, thank you very much, Latif Idris. Still to come in the bulletin, students of surveying and mapping defy directive by Land and Natural Resources Minister that they vacate the school. We have all that and more coming up. Please stay tuned. All right, so you're welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, information gathered by Joy News reveals that Supreme Court Judge Justice Sofa Kufu may be one of the contenders, become the country's next Chief Justice. Well, the current Chief Justice, Georgina Thodiwa, is leaving office in June after 10 years service as a head of the third arm of the government, the judiciary. Now, Article 144, Section 1 of the 19th Constitution states the Chief Justice shall be appointed by the President, acting in consultation with the Council of State and with the approval of Parliament. Now, all this while we've been aware that there are two names in contention. That's been Justice Jones Doche and Eninja Boy. Turns out that now Sophia Akuffo is in the mix, and she apparently happens to be in strong contention. Now, Raymond Akwa, he has joined me in the studio, and he's been following this beat, and he's going to be sharing with us a bit more. Now, first of all, my understanding is that there was supposed to have been a meeting today to consider the names that have been put forward. What's happened?
We understand that the Council of State did not meet because they were not given any indication that the meeting will come off. The president had to leave to Kumasi earlier in the day. But the indication we are getting is that a name has been submitted to the council, not open to members of the council, but there's a name, not names, not proposal. That means that somebody has been apparently nominated, and the person has to go through some advisory processes that the council will put in place. Then the person has to go through to Parliament if the name is not changed at any point in time through this process.
And this name, we're learning, is Justice Sophia Akuffo.
More likely. The indication we are getting is that she may be the one on the list.
What are the strong points going for her?
One, she's actually stayed at the Supreme Court more than the other gentlemen we are talking about.
Oh, really?
Yes, she seniors them. And she actually also comes into the fourth arm of government, the third arm of government, as the woman there. You know, the discussions to do with women's role in government and all of the other differences. When Georgina Wood leaves office, then there's a vacuum created. Replacing her with a man will be having the four most important people in Ghana being all male. But in this particular case, we're likely to have, if she is, and it's an important point to make because there is always the decision, and President Akufo-Addo said it before. The ex-President Mahama has also made that particular call before. Indeed, the appointment of President Mills's appointment of what they call it, the then Speaker of Parliament, said that it will be very fine if you have a balance up there on the gender plate. And that showed his commitment. So that's one thing that's being considered. Secondly, the rapport between herself and the president. Indeed, there's never been a true profile of the president which is not talking about the people he has trained, which includes Philip Addison, which includes this particular Supreme Court judge. So there's a very good relationship between herself and the president. And that is one of the things that people believe makes her stand out as a candidate compared to the other people we are talking about in this case. There's also the other part that people are considering, and that probably may be on the negative side, is the ethnicity of this particular woman. I mean, the name sounds the same, but they are not like family members. But is the ethnicity of this particular woman, the fact that she is also Akan, like the president, and that is one of the other issues that people are actually saying may be the only negative in this particular case. But she also has strong grounding in constitutional law. She's an extraordinary judge who is recognized at the UN level, at the African Union Court. She stays there for some months. And also, even the UU had detachments that she had actually worked with before. So she's respected in the legal fraternity. Don't forget, more recently when there was discussions on the particular Muntia 3 case, she was the one who chaired that particular panel, gave the incisive and very interesting judgment in that particular case. So that is the person we are talking about.
So, so this is what we know she has going for her. Now, how about the two other candidates who were in the running?
Justice Jones Doche was deemed to be the man who bring true ethnic balance to that particular. So on one hand, gender balance is being achieved with that of Sophia Akuffo, but on the other hand, ethnic balance would have been, and even for the MPP, their relationship with the voter region, a statement would have been boldly made out there that we made one of your own the Chief Justice of this Republic. So that was a very big statement. Also, Justice Jones Doche would have been seen as somebody who is a departure a little bit from what is supposed to be the arrangement that goes in that particular office, that you choose somebody you are extremely comfortable with, that you choose somebody that you know at all times may have to do, or if required, will do your business along the line. So he's seen more in the middle than the other candidates we are talking about in this case. His judgments, and if you do recall, in the 2012 election petition, whilst many sometimes expected that he would toe the line of some other judges who were actually dissenting when it came to the most important issues, he didn't. So he's unpredictable on one other hand, which probably makes him quite neutral and more independent, regardless of the connections people still draw him to the, what they call it, the governing party now. Let's not forget, he's one of the few who's gone through being a lawyer, private practice for about 20 years, being a state attorney, then moving ahead to actually become a judge at the High Court, then to becoming a Supreme Court judge. He was a former president of the Volta Regional Bar Association. So he has experience in the bar, in leadership in the bar, and also experience as an attorney for the state, and experience as a private practitioner. People might have believed that people of his sort would understand all the skills when it comes to the relationship between the bar and the bench in this particular case. So he was deemed to be in pole position until the sudden eruption of the lady, yes, came in, and then
okay, and then Justice Ani Yeboah.
Justice Ani Yeboah was deemed to be a favorite because of also the people who were considerably lobbying for him. He had massive support, people within the NPP. And don't forget, he's shown, and by his ruling, if you can analyze that, loyalty to most of the cases that the NPP was involved in. When they came to having to rule, people read clearly between the lines how his rulings favored more of the NPP over the period of time. So if it came to loyalty, if it also came to somebody who could trust that he's really within our fold, and somebody who had big people, including big chiefs, lobbying for, he's one of those. His experience is also known in the international field, even in sports. He was on the FIFA's arbitration committee. In fact, he was previously on the CAF arbitration committee before he went to the FIFA arbitration, CAF ethics committee before he went to the FIFA arbitration committee. Right. So in that particular space, he's also very experienced. That's the difference between himself and Justice Don Joseph, who joined the, what they call, bench in the same year, in the same appointment by John Kufuor in 2008.
All right, so when are we likely to know if indeed this name that has been submitted to the president is anything to work? When are we likely to know this, who's the next Chief Justice is going to be?
On Monday, it will be, it was exactly 1 month for the current Chief Justice to leave office. Right. What it means is that the clock is ticking. The replacement strategy has to be put in place well so that I don't leave a vacuum there. Because the Chief Justice has very important roles. Role that if she's not there will be left to the most senior at the, bench, which will be Justice Atuba in this particular case. So you would want to, that's why the process is started now. We expect that they have to make commentary. They have to actually give advice, which another decision by the same court says is not binding on the president. So, i.e., the president gets to appoint. The other point in this case is that Parliament will have to approve with the vetting. They did so in the Chief Justice case. Remember the issue to do with separating the office of the, Attorney General from that of the Minister of Justice. Then Judge Nawood made a comment, does it not depend on who appoints both? So that particular vetting will come in. So the person who is appointed in this case will have to go through vetting by Parliament. Then the approval is done.
Now, then if Parliament is on recess, what happens?
They can recall them to come and do the vetting because this is a one-month space that ought to be filled immediately. And the other point is that, well, they may also want to wait till Parliament resumes if they don't want to rock the boat at any point in time. Really, there will be a vacuum, but it will not be as huge because there will be somebody acting. But for a government, if you didn't appoint the man acting, you may not be willing to leave a vacuum for that long within that particular period of time.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Raymond Akwa, for bringing us that insight. Now, we're staying with the Supreme Court, which has asked parties in the controversial Gitmo 2 lawsuit to file further submissions on the case on the day many were anticipating the Apex Court to deliver judgment on the matter. The arrival of Mahmoud Mohammed bin Atef and Khalid Mohammed Al-Dubi in the country in 2016 sparked public uproar over the possible security implications, as the two were believed to be former Al-Qaeda terrorists. Two citizens, Margaret Bamfo and Henry Nana Boakye, in January 2016 went to the Supreme Court to challenge the move by government. The court has now set June 22 to rule on the matter. There is more in this report.
The case of the plaintiffs essentially hinged on Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution. This provision empowers the president to enter into international agreements on behalf of Ghana, but it also requires of him to allow for such agreements to be ratified by the parliament of the country. The court today held that it was appropriate for lawyers on both sides to address the court on whether such agreements, once entered into, governments can walk away from such agreements simply because it contravenes our national constitution. Justice Atuguba said Article 75 had never been interpreted in our history, directing parties to file submissions to that effect by on or before 24th of May. Lawyer for the plaintiffs, Nana Ejewa, spoke to the press after proceedings.
This is monumental to the extent that we are likely, or we may have the position that, yes, there are certain agreements which the president of Ghana can take. So it will, in effect, create a certain exception, which is why the court thinks that we must give further submissions so that they make a decision that would be beneficial to Ghana going forward.
The court has therefore fixed June 22 to deliver judgment on the matter. Reporting for Joy News, Joseph Akable, Accra.
Now, the Abalempe Mawako branch manager, who is standing trial on the charge of assaulting a caterer at the restaurant, Wednesday told the court he never shoved the face of the female employee into pepper. This was as Jihad Shaban opened his defense after his lawyers at the previous sitting told the Abekan District Court he would need the help of an interpreter to enable him address the court, since he was more comfortable expressing himself in Arabic. Narrating the incident, the 26-year-old vehemently denied and insisted he never shoved the face of the caterer into blended pepper. Hearing continues on Thursday, May 15. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break at this point. We'll bring you business news thereafter. Please stay tuned.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Business. Now, the Ghanaian firm that would take over ECG under the MCC Compact program must invest at least $500 million. This would help meet government's plan of ensuring that the Ghanaian entity has at least 51% stake in ECG. Energy Minister Boakye Agyarko disclosed this to Joy Business after a stakeholders meeting on the Millennium Challenge Compact. The minister also assured that no ECG worker would lose their work as a result of the program. Ghana in 2014 signed an agreement with the U.S. government for the release of almost $500 million to improve energy supply in the country. The country has already started receiving part of the compact money to improve operations. And in a related development, the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA, says it is likely to settle on the new owner of ECG by the close of this year. This would be done after a bidders' conference to be held on May 25. Engineer Urura Kwekusafo is chief executive of the authority.
Right now, what we are talking about it relates to the structure of the ECG private sector participation, and that is not part of the compact. What the compact indicates is that government will elect to undertake either a partial privatization or a long-term concession, and government has undertaken a long-term concession. So that is an agreement. In terms of the details of the structure, these have to be worked out, but you also have to agree that whatever structure we adopt must be accepted by the market, meaning that, you know, you are looking out in the market, looking for bidders who will show interest in the transaction. So whatever terms you adopt must be acceptable to the bidders.
And so the economists would always want to say all other things being equal. All other things being equal, when would you settle on that concessionaire to lead this whole reorganization or privatization of the ECG?
Well, the arrangement, the current arrangement is that there are a number of processes that we have to go through. We have to go through the tendering process. They submit their tenders. If all goes well, by September, there will be evaluation, approvals, and whatever. And then a decision will be made on who is a preferred concessionaire. And that decision we expect to occur sometime early next year. And then approvals will go through, and then there will be negotiation. And when the negotiation is done and all the approvals are done, then a contract is signed with them by government of Ghana. And when the contract is signed with them, then they will start the process of taking over the management, operation, and investment in ECG.
Aren't you racing against time, if I may ask, in per your calendar, even settling on this concessionaire? Aren't you behind time?
Well, we are behind time, but we are working to catch up on time. As you are well aware, by the terms of the compact, if you are well aware, we are supposed to have financial close of this concession latest by September next year. And looking at the processes that are ahead of us, there are quite a lot of things that we need to do. But we are working to make up for time so that we can meet that timeline.
Now, work on the Kotoka International Airport Terminal 3 is scheduled for completion by the end of April next year. The project director made this known during a tour of some expansion facilities at the Kotoka International Airport by the Aviation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. The new terminal is expected to handle over 5 million passengers when complete. Sheila Tamaklu followed the minister and has come through with this report.
The Minister for Aviation was accompanied by her deputy, management of the various departments of the Ghana Airport Company Limited and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. The objective was to ascertain the current state of the infrastructure at the Kotoka International Airport. Her first stop was a new structure being put up for air navigation services, which is yet to be completed. Sector Minister Cecilia Dapaah was pleased with expansion works so far.
I believe the building, as you see, ties in with the vision of government, the vision of President Akufo-Addo to make the aviation sector the best in the sub-region, if not in Africa. And we know our airport is the hub. Nigerians can dispute that, but I believe we all know that it's now the hub of the sub-region. And it is because we provide excellent services to our passengers and our pilots. And it's all because our workers are hardworking, and they should continue to make Ghana proud.
The next stop was the Kotoka Terminal 3 expansion, which is 55% complete. The tour also took the minister to the passenger and cargo handling wings, offices of service providers, Aviance, and the airport clinic. In an interview later, the minister emphasized the need for more locally trained personnel for the aviation sector.
Because you know about the unemployment situation, we have a lot of the youth who are interested in the aviation industry. And I even hear from Africa World Airlines executives that they are short of pilots and crew members on the plane. We are hoping to have a school built to train pilots and crew members for the plane. Because as the industry is expanding, so should be the training programs that will give to our youth and our professionals to make sure Ghana is truly the hub. You talked about the dream of having Ghana become the hub. And I will say we are the hub. But we need to expand. So with this new project coming on board, I think we'll have a lot of space for our passengers and the comfort will be assured.
The flagship Kotoka Terminal 3 project, upon completion, is expected to handle up to 5 million passengers a year, with an expansion potential of up to 65 million passengers, and ease pressure on the existing 2 terminals.
Now, inflation has gone up for the first time this year to 13% in April. This represents an increase of 0.2 percentage points compared with a rate of 12.8% recorded in March. This means prices of goods and services, though continue to increase, the rate of increase in April was higher than that recorded in March. So what exactly are the drivers for the increase in April? Acting Government Statistician Ban Wade explains.
Currently, for inflation rate, it's the non-food which is driving the tempo of inflation that we are observing. Thank you. But if we want the specifics as to what actually pushed up or accounted for the inflation that we are observing for April, then we have mainly transport. The transport group had an increase in the inflation rate by about 9.6%. We also have communications, which also went up by a 0.1 percentage point. And then we have miscellaneous goods and services, which also went up by 0.1 percentage points. These were the key causes of the inflation that we are observing, the 13.0% that we are observing for the month of April 2017.
So meaning that any price change within these groups will affect the inflation rate significantly?
Subsequently, yeah.
Now, Lead Stationery Depot, Crif Ghana Limited, has now entered into partnership with one of Europe's largest office products manufacturers, Durable, at a short ceremony in Accra. The event, which was dubbed Durable of Germany Day, saw various products from the company of Durable on display. Susan Arura Ajua Akusua is the executive director of CRIF Ghana Limited. She tells Joy Business the partnership will boost the company's competitiveness and also create more jobs.
In business, sometimes it grows, the relationship develops. So there must be progress. It's ongoing, and so we really want to, and we also have the plan to take durable to the sub-region. Yes, we have the plans to take durable to the sub-region. I mean, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, of course, so it's a growing relationship, and we are quite happy with ourselves. There is a lot that is going to go for Ghana. Leadership is important, and I think leadership will come up with the necessary strategies, and if they do, there is nothing we couldn't have in Ghana, So, yes, doing business in Ghana, even as Ghanaians or all the other people who have set up in Ghana, it's a tricky balance you have to get right. Yes, you need to get it right. We are hoping that things will get better and simpler once we get some of the indicators or the factors right. I think this would be a good place to do business. Yes, and we are encouraged anytime people come on board, because we keep getting inquiries or our friends in business, when they meet us, they ask, so what do you think about coming to, and we definitely say, yeah, sure, come to Ghana, but there are some corrections we need to do.
And on that note, we draw the curtain on business tonight. Many thanks for watching. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a great evening.
Students of the Ghana School of Surveying and Mapping have defied the orders of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, asking them to leave the campus with immediate effect. Instead, the students held a news conference outside the campus, threatening to march to the Flagstaff House if stakeholders involved in the matter do not stop what they describe as a illegal sale of the school lands. They are calling on the president to immediately move in to resolve the impasse. Joining us is Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
The students of the Ghana School of Surveying and Mapping have been protesting against the leasing of the 20-acre land since 2015. They contend the land has been leased to a private developer for the construction of a shopping mall, a claim refuted by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Amewu. The most recent protest was on May 2, when some of the students went on rampage, destroying some corrugated roofing sheets used to fence the parcel of land in contention. Responding to that unrest on the campus some days ago, the sector minister at a news conference on Tuesday directed the closure of the campus with immediate effect.
It's important that we also protect and those lives, and also the lives of the students themselves, because the safety of the student is also critical for our, as a country. And so this attempt to destroy properties, cause disturbances, cannot be allowed in an environment of peace. And that is why we are asking that for work to progress on, smoothly, the school be temporarily, shut down, while alternative measures will be put in place to make sure that the right measures will be put in place to make sure that we call them back.
But the students on Wednesday afternoon vowed not to comply with the directive.
Can't just make decisions based on somebody's insinuations or whatever the person is talking about. No, we are never going to allow it, and we are not moving an inch until the right thing is done. I'll keep on saying, me, my executive, and my students are not moving an inch. Trust me, we are not.
We have not touched anything of the Lands Commission. All right, we have paid. We have paid everything, every infrastructure that we are using, we have paid for it. Okay, we have paid for it. Everything that you are seeing, so where should we go? Why is he taking us? Unless he's taking us to his office. Unless he's taking us to his office. I said this is a school. It's not a galamsey that he can just give order. I'll give you 1 week. Go. This is a school. He cannot do that to us. If you have any of his students, can he just do that?
The press conference that was about to start, but that has been halted temporarily. The Minister of Lands, Natural Resources, John Peter Mewu, actually arrived here on the grounds some few minutes ago. He didn't even spend 5 minutes and he had to leave this place to another location. We do not know why he had to leave without addressing the students. A lot of them are not really excited about the situation that he had to leave without addressing them. Police officers, armed police officers are here ready to ensure that there's peace and tranquility here on this campus.
With the directives of the ministry, we are here to ensure that the entire premises here is well secured, and that is it. We have our way of doing things, and so as we monitor events, we then rope in other strategies.
At a media briefing later Wednesday afternoon, the SRC president of the school, Brighton Sia, called on President Akufo-Addo to intervene in the matter. He says failure to resolve the issue will compel them to picket outside the Flagstaff House.
We remain resolute as students.
That's it.
Our resolutions remain our resolutions.
Yes.
Until the government and the Lands Commission, together with the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, comes to our aid, be ready to dialogue with us. We will continue to resist and we demand immediate action.
Yes. The gaps in the nooks.
Failure to do this,
oppose anything.
Our next action is to march to the office of the presidency.
Yes. Yes.
And if the need arises that we need to spend overnight,
we will.
Are we ready? Yeah. Are we ready?
Yeah.
At the time of filing this report, some of the students were still on campus with armed policemen stationed there. Reporting for Joy News, Maxwell Agbagba.
Well, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources John Peter Mewu says Ghana's natural resources have become a curse instead of a benefit. This, the minister says, is as a result of massive destruction left behind by those tilling the earth for these resources. With specific reference to the campaign to halt illegal mining, John Peter Mewu asked foreign ambassadors to collaborate with the government to end galamsey. The minister was speaking at an interaction with heads of missions from the Middle East and Europe at the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
I'm speaking in relation to illegal mining activity that we have witnessed over a period. The laws of Ghana specifically preserve the small-scale mining to be done by Ghanaians, and who Ghanaian is can equally be found in our laws and statutes books. Unfortunately, we have had the area being witnessed with a lot of international miners, let me use that. The people from Mali, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Burkina Faso, China, name them, all countries. The very things that they are not able to do in their country, these are the things that are being done in Ghana, solely because the laws in Ghana do not work. As a government and in accordance with our manifesto, we are not anti-mining government. We are not anti-mining. This is a government that believes in private sector orientations and growth. So how can we be against people who want to do business with us? What we are against, and we stood strongly against, is the methodology and principles that have been applied in the mining processes. Our environments have been degraded, forests have been destroyed, water bodies have been polluted, to an extent that in most of the communities, water treatment plants are not able to operate because of the turbidity in some of these rivers. Natural resources cannot be a curse, it should be a blessing. Why is it that in collaboration with our foreign partners, we are able to make ours a curse?
On her part, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, appealed to the ambassadors to use their diplomacy to protect Ghanaians in foreign lands. According to her, migration issues must be handled with a human face and also protect the dignity and human rights of affected people in line with international conventions.
This point must be stressed as we continue to receive reports of abuse of our citizens who are recruited by job agents to go to work in some Gulf states. Your Excellencies, this is an issue we must openly confront in an honest and contrite manner. We must not only strongly condemn them, but take practical and urgent steps to address them. In that connection, we wish to appeal to you to take bold steps to arrest these unfortunate developments of the maltreatment of Ghanaian labor migrants in your various countries. We demand that those found culpable should face the legal consequences to serve as a deterrent to others.
She further called for their support to help Ghana realize its desire for faster economic growth, job creation, and sustainable development.
Our government's key focus, therefore, is to build one factory in each district, one dam in one village, within a broader perspective or objective of making the agriculture sector become the bedrock of our economy. To achieve this objective, we need your support in seeking new markets for our products in your various countries and in marketing our country as an ideal and safe investment destination.
In other news, Assembly members in the Sisala East District have unanimously confirmed the President's nominee for the position of DCE, the first ever such unanimous endorsement. The Assembly has a checkered history of rejecting persons nominated by the President, and so the endorsement of the 42-year-old teacher of the Canton Senior High School, Nuonyo Karim, by all the 30 members is truly historic. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Tumu.
11 persons were nominated by President Akufo-Addo for the position of municipal and district chief executives in the Upper West region. 5 of them have so far been confirmed 100% in the Upper West region, leaving 6. The focus now is on the 2 Sisala districts. The duo have a checkered history of rejecting presidential nominees. 30 members of the Sisala East District Assembly converged at the conference room of the Assembly. Sisala East Member of Parliament Ridwan Abbas Daud called on members of the Assembly to follow the example of the 5 districts that have confirmed their DCEs in the region.
Let's make the region proud. I believe strongly that throughout the region, all the 11 district assemblies we have, we are going to get 100% confirmation of our DCs. So Sisala East should be part of that victory.
The 42-year-old nominee, Nuonyo Karimu, is a teacher with Canton Senior High School. Sisala East District Electoral Officer John Kwesinunu conducted the polls. At the close of polls, the nominee had 100% yes endorsement and becomes the first nominee to ever achieve such a feat in the district. He was quickly sworn into office by Upper West Regional Minister Suleiman Al-Hassan.
I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
As by law established.
As by law established.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Nuonyo Karimu thanked the President and former colleagues for the confidence reposed in him and promised not to let them down.
Everybody asked for 100%. I also asked for 100%, and precisely you've given me 100%. What it therefore means is that I will not have opportunity to say no to whatever you want me to do. And as far as the development of this district is concerned, I want to assure you, I repeat, I want to assure you, I will not allow the confidence, the hope that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has on me to diminish.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Tumu.
Over 1,370 hectares of maize plantations have so far been destroyed by the armyworm infestation. That's according to Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Wusu Efriye-Akoto. Addressing journalists in Accra Wednesday, the minister disclosed that a budget of 16 million Ghana cedis has been earmarked to deal with the situation.
It has gotten to the extent that we have to take very sharp remedial action in order to stop the spread and not only stop it, but also eliminate the incidents from our fields. A lot of measures have been taken. First of all, I have informed the Cabinet of the Republic of Ghana, and the Cabinet is meeting tomorrow. I'm going to do a presentation to them. I've also informed the Office of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We have prepared a budget of 16 million Ghana cedis, a budget of 16 million Ghana cedis, half of which is to go into the purchase of the chemicals required to spray for the control and annihilation of the outbreak of the worm, and the other half for the other activities, including personnel and so on, logistics, public awareness, and so on. We want to remove this permanently. So all the measures that are required to ensure that this does not occur again after this control.
Meanwhile, a 14-member task force has been set up to halt the spread of the pest. Here's the minister with details of their mandate.
The task force, which is being inaugurated today by myself, has the following assignment: the sensitization and awareness of farmers on detection of the fall armyworm. That's the first thing, that they have to sensitize farmers and make them aware of the symptoms that would enable them to report, to conclude that, yes, it's a fall armyworm, and to be able to report it to the authorities immediately. 2, scouting and monitoring. We are not just going to sit back and rely on farmers coming to report to us, but this task force will set up groups to go around scouting to discover and determine whether the danger is there or not. 3, they are going to ensure implementation and prevention of measures, take measures to implement, prevent, and control the fall armyworm. 4, research for other long-term measures to combat the worm. And that research includes looking at the biological control. We know that there are certain pests which can easily annihilate the fall armyworm. And we are, with the help of scientists in our universities and research centers, we are going to cultivate these to use as biological control, so in the future we don't have to use chemicals for the purpose. And finally, we have to sort for resources for short and long-term strategies to combat the menace.
The pedestrian walkway linking Alugboshi in the Akwakwe South District of the Greater Accra region was opened to the public on Wednesday to the relief of residents in the community. The opening of the bridge, constructed by the National Disaster Management Organization with funding from Norway through the UNDP, will enable the residents' commute to other adjoining communities. It is part of NAPMO's Risk Disaster Reduction Project and will identify 9 other flood and drought disaster areas across the country and provide assistance to reduce its impact. As Hanodame reports, Alugboshi benefited from the project because most of the affected are children.
Prior to the construction of this 24-meter concrete bridge, the people of Alogoshi had to endure and carefully work on the frail wooden structure that had been constructed for them to use for their movement. But today, thanks to the UNDP and the Norwegian government, they have a concrete bridge. Now, this bridge is just one out of 10 bridges that the National Disaster Management Organization has stated that they will construct across the country. And it's part of a disaster risk management program that they are embarking on. They have identified these 10 spots as areas that are prone to flood, and as part of their measures to ensure the people in the community are not affected by floods, these bridges are going to be constructed in the other 10 areas. Nana Prempe is the Executive Director of NADMO.
In the coming weeks, NADMO will be commissioning 9 comparable disaster risk reduction projects throughout the country in Kumasi, Esueboa, in Fantiakwa, in Bunklugu, in Techima, New Onyina, in Boko, West Zibila, and Ipkus.
So the people of Alogoshi and some other areas in other parts of the country are going to be beneficiaries of this bridge. School children particularly are going to benefit from this, and I have one of them with me here. What's your name?
My name is Manuela.
Manuela, prior to this, how were you crossing this river?
At first, when we are crossing the river, we feel so scary, and then we are afraid to cross the river, but now we are feeling comfortable.
Now, hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm sure you're excited about the construction of this bridge.
Yes, madam.
Prior to this, how were you crossing yourself? Because I'm told some were walking through the river.
Yes, I walked through the river, and I remember one day when it rained, and I was going to work. When I reached here, I was late actually, so a certain man heard me. He carried me, yes, on his back.
So I'm sure this is welcoming news.
Yeah, that's very good. We are all too excited.
And that's what the National Disaster Management Organization seeks to do in other parts of the country that have been identified as areas that are prone to flood. From Alogoshi in the Okaikwe South District of the Greater Accra region, my name is Hannah Odami, working on this new constructed bridge for Joy News.
Global disasters account for 90% of all climate change-related disasters, costing the world economy $520 billion each year and pushing 26 million people into poverty. To mitigate the incidence of such disasters here in Ghana, the Norwegian government is collaborating with its Ghanaian counterpart by committing $5 million to deal with climate change-related disasters locally, specifically in the areas of drought and flooding. Speaking at the commissioner of the Alogoshi Bridge, which is one of the funded projects, the Norwegian ambassador to Ghana, Hege Hedberg, noted the contribution of her country is to aid local governments and communities to take into consideration the need to reduce the vulnerability of disasters.
Unfortunately, climate change is not something we are able to stop. It seems the world is heading for more climate change. While we are doing everything we can to stop it, there is a need for adaptation. There is a need to adapt our infrastructure and our behavior so that we can cope with the climate change that is coming. Bridges like this is one way of doing that, because climate change adaptation means more focus on disaster risk reduction and early warning systems, resilience in every community all over the world. This is what the world is working for through the newly agreed Sustainable Development Goals, and our support to NADMO and UNDP fits very nicely into the cooperation we have on a high level, because your president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, and my Prime Minister, Erna Solberg, are the co-chairs of the World SDG Advocacy Group. So they are traveling the world to promote the Sustainable Development Goals. And it's so nice for us to be able to support some of the projects meant to reach the development goals in Ghana.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has indicated it is his hope that the newly opened Kumasi City Mall will not be a place only for the sale of imported goods, but also for the sale of Ghanaian goods. According to the president, it will be truly commendable if by the end of the first year of its operation, at least 20% of the goods that are sold there are of Ghanaian origin, with the percentage increasing as the country's manufacturing sector expands in the coming years. Delivering a speech at the official opening of the Kumasi City Mall on Wednesday, the president bemoaned the fact that Ghana continues to be a retailer of cheap imported goods, whilst the capacity of local producers remains weak and the products suffer low patronage. Right, my name is Israelai and I had fun too. You have a good night.
This is Joy News Prime.